Is money one of the reasons you want to win? Mr. Edwards, same objection. More than money. I want to see Ghislaine and Giuffre own up to what they have done and pay for the price, yes. Is money tight in your family? We've been doing well. You've been doing well? Yes. What is your source of income right now? My husband is the main income. He's the breadwinner and I'm a stay-at-home mum. And what is his job? Blank, blank, blank. And how long has he had that job? He got that job, I believe, in December or January. December 2015 or January 2016. I know he got the job and then we had to go through all these preliminary tests and everything to make sure you qualify. So, what is the last paid employment that you had? The last paid employment that I had was, do you remember going back through the emails where I had that resume and I sent it and they said, what time do you want to come for an interview? I ended up getting the job there for 2 days because the place was disgusting and the boss was just horrible. I didn't get paid from them, but I got employed by them. And other than that, the last time I worked ended in 2006 for ET Australia. Did you quit that job after 2 days because the place was disgusting? It was vile, okay. The whole place was closed down. The restaurant was closed down for a period of like 6 months. And he wanted me to go into this freezer area that had a dead rat in it, like this thick. Layer of mould at the bottom. And he wanted me to clean it. All right. And I was just like, no. Just checking, did you quit or did he fire you? No, I definitely walked out of that one. Hands up. Okay, I'm going to do one more document I have quickly. Exhibit 21, marked. I'll show you Defendant's Exhibit 21, another composite exhibit. Do you recognise the to and froms on this email? To Sharon Churcher from myself, yes. And this is the Sharon Churcher from Mail on Sunday we were discussing earlier. That's correct. And these are from February of 2011, correct? Yes. Okay. I mean, it's just assuming that we're not looking at Australian backwards dates. Okay, well, a few pages back where it says 2/19/2011. Oh yeah. All right, if I could direct your attention to one of the pages, it's 3676 in the lower right-hand corner. 3676. Now, these are in sequential order. They're not in basis stamp order, so you might have to look at the dates on the top to find out that's February the 19th of 2011. Do you know which page it is? Mr. Edwards, well, it's almost in the middle. Mr. Edwards, it's like what she's saying is that if you look at the date at the top, Mr. Edwards, if you look at the top, it says 2/19/2011. That's not it. It's like half a page. Keep going. 2/13, 2/17, 2/18, 2/19, 2/19/11. If it says 3676 in the lower right-hand corner, yes. Okay, is that an email that you sent to Sharon Churcher in response to an email that Sharon Churcher sent to you? To Sharon Churcher from Jenna, subject, RE, received, yes. I tried to call the line, was busy. Could you call concerning the question you asked? All right, and that was in response to an email just below it you received from Sharon Churcher, correct? Yes. And what did Sharon Churcher write to you on February the 19th of 2011? Do you know a blank? Supposedly JE purchased her at age 14 from her family. Okay, and then you asked her to call to discuss that, correct? I tried to call. The line was busy. Could you call concerning the question you asked? Right. Yes. All right. Defendant's Exhibit 22. Exhibit 22 marked. Thank you. Okay, do you recognise these series of emails? so far, I mean, it's definitely from me to her, or actually Michael Thomas is the photographer that worked with her, just to be clear. And is she one of the recipients of the first page email? You and she received an email from Michael Thomas. Is that right? Yes. Okay, Mr. Edwards, I think she wants you to look and make sure you recognise them. Yeah. Do you recognise the document, the emails? Like I said, these are back in 2011, but it's from my email address. I recognise that. I recognise Sharon's name and I recognise Michael Thomas. Do you have any reason to doubt that the emails from March of 2011, I don't have any, from yourself and Ms. Churcher, are accurately reflected from the documents taken from your computer here? I have no reason to doubt that. Okay, Exhibit 23 marked. Defendants Exhibit 23. Again, emails between your email address and Sharon Churcher from May of 2011. Do you recognise your email address? Yes. And Sharon Churcher's email address? Yes. And you're signing your emails to her, much love, kiss hug, Jenna, and she's signing her emails to you, love Shazza, correct? Correct. And Shazza is a name that you call her. In Australia, we kind of shorten the names of people and put a Z-A on the end, so yeah. So she became Shazza. She became Shazza, correct? And do you recall having email communications with her in which you referred to her as Shazza? And yes, she referred to herself as Shazza. She's the same person we're talking about, yes. All right, so it's coming from her email address as Sharon Churcher, right? Yes. All right, and I think the last, Mr. Edwards, are you at a stopping point? Almost. Mr. Edwards, okay, I just have to make a quick call, but I can wait a while, so I understand, almost done. Okay. Exhibit 24 marked. This is Exhibit 24, emails between yourself and Sharon Churcher from June of 2011. Yes, sorry. And again, Shazza and Jenna, Shazza, Jenna, Jenna, Shazza, right? Yes. And at the bottom of this first page is Sharon Churcher giving you advice regarding the purchase by Vanity Fair blank blank. May I have time to read it, please? Please. Are we talking about the very bottom one or the one in the kind of middle bottom? The very bottom one. I would let VF buy your picture via Brad. The big gamble would be to let him also give them a statement. Right? The reason this is a gamble is Giuffre knows some of the most powerful people in publishing and once altered will inevitably try to scare off potential buyers. But the upside is it should help you get a good agent. I would have Brad use the phrase sex trafficked as that is a heads up about the book, revealing more than be printed. All right, so is Sharon Churcher writing to you about, actually, it's CC to Brad, correct? Yes. And I only use Brad, not his last name, because it's Brad at pathtojustice.com, correct? Yes. All right, and that's Brad Edwards, who is sitting here, right? Yes. All right. And so in the email from Sharon Churcher to you regarding whether or not you should let Vanity Fair buy your picture, she's also recommending in the last line that you should have Brad use the phrase sex trafficked, correct? If a statement is made, yes, I don't think Vanity Fair ever did anyway. And the picture that they're talking about there is the one with blank, correct? That's, yeah, the big one. The one that was previously sold. Yes. And Paulo Silva was syndicating that one, correct? Yes, yeah. And on that second page, there's a redaction. Who is in that redaction? I have no idea. You don't know? No, I don't know. So who are the two world's most respected politicians? Blank and who? I don't know. Do you recall ever telling Sharon Churcher that you were trafficked to two of the world's most respected politicians, blank and somebody else? Objection. Is that her wording? This is from her, so this is her wording. Right. If she considered them to be the world's most respected politicians, that would be her opinion, not mine. Okay, but you received this email and responded to it, correct? Is the top one above that what I responded to? Sorry, it just confuses me because it goes upwards, doesn't it? Not downwards. We're not reading chronologically down, are we? You can probably look at the dates and figure it out. I need you to do that, not me. Okay, the 30th of the 5th, 31st of the 5th, 6th of the 1st. Right. So I still don't know who she's talking about there. You don't know if you received this email? No, I received this email, obviously, but I don't know who's redacted there. Okay, and in the email that you responded to, you're talking about, you used blank blank, correct? It does concern me when they could want to write about me considering that blank walked into VF and threatened them not to write sex trafficking articles about his good friend GE. Right, does that refresh your memory that when you got this email unredacted, blank was included as well as blank? Objection. In the line referred to as two of the world's most respected politicians, it could be, but again, I would be making an assumption because I don't know who that name is. I don't either. Okay. Maybe our lawyers can tell us. All right, last one, and then you get your break. Exhibit 25 marked. Defendants, Exhibit 25. Again, emails to and from yourself and Sharon Churcher, correct? Yes. And in this email, it's dated 4/12/2015 on the first page of this composite email. Yes. She's encouraging you to do a book, correct? As she has from the beginning, yes. Right, and she suggested a Roman a clef. Do you know what that means? No. On the third page, back, she wrote you to compliment you about David Boyes taking your case, correct? Just reading about David Boyes taking your case. How fantastic, Jenna. Have you asked him how he'd feel about reviving your book? It would be an incredible shame if the other project lifts your story, which it could at least somewhat. Jared is still very keen to represent you. I'm afraid I screwed you by steering you to Mimi. I just had a great weekend in LA on a celebrity story. Got to go to Radio Drive. Much love, Shazza. Yes. So she's encouraging you to have David Boyes also help you in the book writing department, right? Objection, mischaracterizes the exhibit. Is the question pending? Yes. She encouraged me to, once she saw that, there was more litigation going on, she thought, like she says, how fantastic. And up until recently, she's still been trying to get me out, to get the book out. And in May of 2015, did you have any active agreement to publish your book? In May of 2015, no. Jared wanted to do something again, but his only thing was he wanted Sharon to be on it as like a ghostwriter. And I said, look, Sharon is all well and good, but I don't want a journalist, as they can twist things around writing my story. So he was like, well, I'm sorry, I don't want to work with you then. And I said, well, that's fine, no problem. Do you, as you sit here today, have any agreement to publish your story in written form? No, we have no agreement. Do you have an agreement for anyone else to write your story? No. Have you got any ghostwriter in the book? Besides Sandra, who I didn't like? No. All right, I think now is a good time for a break. And then Mr. Edwards. Okay. The videographer, we are off the record at 4:12. Recess taken from 4:12 p.m. to 4:22 p.m. The videographer, we are back on the record at 4:22. When you were emailing and speaking with Sharon Churcher in 2011 about the Vanity Fair, possibly purchasing your photograph, do you recall whether you shared with Sharon Churcher anything that you had discussed with your attorney, Mr. Edwards? In relation to what? Like, have I identified people to her? Right. Yes. Okay, so you identified people to her and you then loop back to her about your conversations with Mr. Edwards, correct? Objection. I'm sorry, can you rephrase? I don't understand. All right, so you were emailing with her, getting her advice about whether or not to sell your blank to Vanity Fair. Right. She asked you to run some information by Brad. Yes. Edwards. And you said that you were going to do that. And then you spoke to Mr. Edwards, correct? I don't know if I spoke to him or if I emailed him. Okay, and then did you report back to Sharon Churcher what you had discussed with Mr. Edwards? I'm not too sure. Like I said, going back to the 2011 emails, look at this pile here. It's impossible for me to know. So you were having a lot of communications with Sharon Churcher in 2011? In 2011, yes. All right, and Mr. Edwards was your attorney in 2011, correct? Yes. And did you ever have Sharon Churcher draft for your email to send to Mr. Edwards? Yes, I believe she did. And why did she draft emails for you to send to Mr. Edwards? I believe there was, and this is just going off my recollection. I believe there was a time when she was, oh God, I can't remember. I really can't remember, and don't want to say anything without looking at that exact email. Do you have it to show me? Well, I'm sure it's probably in there, but I don't want to take the time to look for it now. Okay. So I understand you're just repeating what you recall from your memory. Yes. And it may not be accurate because you're not looking at the document. I've got that caveat. What do you recall, just as you're sitting there? I know there was emails that Sharon sent to me suggesting to say to Brad Edwards. I know that. I don't remember or recall exactly what was in those statements. Okay, and did you send those emails to Mr. Edwards as you recall today? I don't know, I'm sorry. And do you know if you went back to Sharon Churcher and told her about the conversations or emails you had with Mr. Edwards? Some of them, I'm sure, yes. Because you were in fairly regular contact with Sharon Churcher at that time, correct? Right, at that time. All right, I want to introduce to defendants Exhibit 26. Exhibit 26 marked. Have you seen this document before? I don't know if I've seen this specific document before, but I've seen something close to it, I think. All right, do you see the date on the document? March the 10th, 2011. March the 9th? I see March the 10th, sorry. London, March the 10th, 2011. Mr. Edwards, both dates are there. I'm sure they are. I'm just not seeing the one that you're seeing. Oh, I'm sorry. That's okay. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay. Mr. Edwards, one is right on top of the other. I don't doubt you. I was just looking for it. Okay. All right, so after the word London, March the 10th, 2011, correct? Correct. And above that is a title, Statement on behalf of Ghislaine Maxwell, right? Yes. By Devonshire's solicitors, PR&E, correct? Correct. And then Wednesday, March the 9th, 2011, correct? Correct. And you understand that March the 9th or March the 10th, 2011 is roughly the time your original stories were published in the press? Correct. Intentionally correct? Correct. And this statement issued by Ghislaine Maxwell or issued by Devonshire's solicitors on her behalf denied allegations about her that have appeared recently in the media, correct? Correct. It says these allegations are all entirely false, correct? Did I read that properly? Ghislaine Maxwell denies the various allegations about her. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, right below that. These allegations are entirely false. All right. In 2011, were you aware that Ghislaine Maxwell issued a statement denying the allegations about her that had appeared in the media? I'm not too sure what I recall from 2011 about Ghislaine Maxwell denying it. I know that she denied it recently in 2015. I know that for a fact. So you don't know whether she denied it in 2011? I can't recall back to 2011, if I do remember that. And you don't know whether she put out a press statement that said these allegations are all entirely false, correct? It doesn't surprise me, but I don't remember reading this. I know that, there was a lot of stories in the press going on, and a lot of them I decided I just didn't want to read. There was a lot of stuff in there that I didn't want to go through. Okay, were you harmed on March the 10th or March the 11th, 2011, by the issuance of a statement on behalf of Ghislaine Maxwell? I am harmed by Ghislaine Maxwell denying anything that has ever happened between us, whether it's in 2002 or 2011 or 2015. I think that she knows what she did, and she should be held accountable for them. And not only has she hurt me once, but she's hurt me apparently twice, and now 3 times. So, on March the 11th, 2011, say, how were you harmed by the issuance of this press statement? She's denied that she had any involvement in the procuring of me and other young girls. And she tries to make herself look like she had no partake in it. Did you suffer any physical symptoms on March the 11th, 2011, after the statement was issued as a consequence of this statement being issued? Not being able to remember reading this in 2011, it's hard to say. But it's the same thing that I'm going through right now. I mean, she's denied it again, and it is painful. It's physically painful. I am taking medication to help me deal with this, and... Okay, I'm just limiting you right now to March of 2011. Mr. Edwards, I would just ask that she's able to finish her answer though, please. Ms. Manager, well, the answer is non-responsive, so... Mr. Edwards, in your opinion, it's not responsive. I want you to understand that the question is related to any physical symptoms you suffered in March of 2011 as a consequence of Defendant's Exhibit 26 being issued. If I would have seen this in March the 10th, 2011, this would have been harmful to me. Okay, do you recall, as you sit here today, experiencing any physical symptoms as a consequence of Defendant's Exhibit 26 being issued to the press? Mr. Edwards, objection. Asked and answered. I've been suffering from Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein since the summer of 2000. So, hearing again in 2011 that she's denied it, of course it's going to hurt me. Did I hear about this in 2011? I can't tell you, I honestly have. In 2015 is when I know that she denied it. And again, I haven't stopped suffering from the repercussions that they put me through. And I'm going to ask you to separate, if you can, any symptoms that you experienced anew in March of 2015. March of 2011 as a consequence of this statement being issued, which I believe you said you don't recall seeing at the time. Is that fair? But you're asking me now about 2015. Nope, March of 2011. Sorry, I misspoke there. You're still on 2011. Yes, did you start taking any medications in March of 2011? Let me ask you that. I've been taking medication to control my blank since 2002. Okay, did you take any new medications or any additional amounts of medications in March of 2011? I have been taking the same medication since 2002. Okay, And that's due to blank caused from the pain that I suffered at the hands of Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. Do you recall any neighbours or other mums at the school or anybody in 2011 referencing to you in any way the fact that Ghislaine Maxwell had issued a denial of the allegations about her that had been published in the media in March of 2011? No, I didn't speak to any. I didn't speak to any mums about what I had gone through. I mean, when it came out in the press, I don't think Australians don't pay attention to news, number one. Number two, the first time that my friends contacted me, they were shocked. And this was, I believe, when the press picked it up again, I think it was 2014, 2015. And I got a whole bunch of Facebook texts from them saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe you've been through this. I never knew, I'm so sorry," that kind of stuff. So I never spoke to anybody about this except for my husband. All right, so for the first time you recall any sort of people in your community referencing things to you is when the press picked it up in 2014 or 2015. Yeah, I think it may be end of 2014, early 2015. All right, and so in March of 2011, you don't recall any neighbours or anybody saying anything to you about this? No, I don't recall. Did anyone tell you in March of 2011 about Defendant's Exhibit 26, the statement on behalf of Ghislaine Maxwell? No, otherwise I would have been able to recall it. Okay, do you remember anyone in 2011 ridiculing you because of the Defendant's Exhibit 26? Well, because nobody knew me as Virginia, everybody knows me as Jenna. No one probably put two and two together. And like I told you, I didn't tell anybody. So there was nobody there to ridicule me in 2011 over this. Were you living in 2011 when Shazza came to see you? Oh, blank. Do you recall applying for any jobs in and or around 2011 and someone referencing Defendant's Exhibit 26 and denying you a job? I don't think I applied for jobs in 2011. Okay, did you go see a doctor and talk to any doctor about Defendant's Exhibit 26? Not about this paper right here. But I have talked to doctors about my abuse at the hands of Ghislaine and Jeffrey. Have you talked to a doctor about any statements in the press made by Ghislaine Maxwell? Recent statements, yes. Which doctor did you speak to about that? Her name is Judith Lightfoot. And where is she? She's in Australia. Where in Australia? She's in Sydney, but we do phone conversations. Have you ever met her in person? Yes. When? In 2011. All right, and is she affiliated with an office or a hospital or what? She's a psychiatrist. All right, have you seen her in person since 2011? No, because I've lived so far away and she's kind of the only person that I've seen a lot of doctors, and I can honestly tell you it's really hard for them to break down the walls and be comfortable enough to talk to them about this stuff. Judith is different. She's somebody that I feel I can trust. She's 76 and she's just a very lovely lady. And she offers me other ways to deal with my pain and suffering. And I continue to see her over the phone because I can't see her in person. Do you recall ever discussing with her Defendant's Exhibit 26? I can't recall ever seeing this exhibit, so... Okay. Exhibit 27 marked. I'm going to give you Defendant's Exhibit 27. Yes. All right, have you seen this document before? Yes. And what do you understand it to be? Blank sounds like a PR, if I'm not right, if I'm not wrong. Sent or subject is Ghislaine Maxwell. I don't know blank, blank, blank. It says, to whom it may concern, please find attached credible statement on behalf of Ms. Maxwell. And then it goes on to hear about that she is saying, Each time the story is retold, it changes with the new salacious details about public figures and world leaders, and now it is alleged by Ms. Roberts that blank is involved in having sexual relations with her, which he denies. Ms. Roberts' claims are obvious lies and should be treated as such and not publicised as news, as they are defamatory. Ghislaine Maxwell's original response to the lies and defamatory claims remains the same. Maxwell strongly denies allegations of an unsavoury nature, which have appeared in the British press and elsewhere, and reserves her right to seek redress at the repetition of such an old defamatory claims. All right, have you seen this statement before? I've seen it recently, yes. All right, what have you discussed this statement with Ms. Lightfoot? I don't know if she's a doctor or what. Psychiatrist, yeah. Is she an MD? I don't know what her levels of credential are. I'm sure she is. Okay, when is the first time that you saw the statement? This full statement I have only seen through Discovery. The original statement that I saw in the press was Ms. Roberts' claims are obvious lies and so on and so forth. I don't remember seeing this in the press. Okay, so the part that you remember seeing in the press is Ms. Roberts' claims are obvious lies. Yes. Anything else about this? I can't remember what else she printed in the press. It's a very horrible thing for her to do, turn around and call me a liar after everything that she knows she's done. And I didn't expect her to come out and be truthful. Jeffrey Epstein hasn't even issued a statement. I'm sorry if you misunderstood my question. Yes? Was there anything else within this statement that you recall seeing in the press besides the line, Ms. Roberts' claims are obvious lies? Without saying 100%, I think that the original allegations are not new and have been fully responded to be shown to be untrue. I don't know if that's in the press or not, but I've read this before. So I don't know if I'm confusing this with what I've read out of this or what I've read in the press. The main thing is, I know she called me a liar, and that's what she's publicised. And when you say she called you a liar, that's the Ms. Roberts' claims are obvious lies part. Yes. Okay, when is the first time that you saw this whole document? I guess when you guys handed it over for Discovery. Okay, and who showed it to you? It was sent to me by email. Okay, just through the course of communicating with your attorneys? Yes. You've never seen it published? Not this whole email, no. All right. Did you discuss this publication of what you saw in the press with Judith Lightfoot? Yes. All right, and when did you discuss it with her? When I got back to Australia, Judith and I started seeing each other again. Before then, I spoke with a doctor in Colorado about this. His name is Dr. Olson. And it was causing me a lot of distress to have to deal with being called a liar all over again, when I know I'm standing up doing the right thing. And the doctor prescribed me blank, and yeah. Okay, so my question was, when did you discuss it with Judith Lightfoot? I think I now understand you did that after you returned to Australia in November or so of 2015, is that right? I returned to Australia in October, and that's when I picked up talking to her again. All right, and you're saying that at another point in time, you talked to another doctor, Dr. Olson in Colorado, correct? Correct. And when did you meet with Dr. Olson? I don't know the first date that I met with him. Did you meet with him more than once? I believe so. And you believe you spoke with him about Ghislaine Maxwell's published statement in the press that Ms. Roberts' claims are obvious lies. That's what you believe you spoke with Dr. Olson about. I spoke with Dr. Olson about being called a liar from the people that abused me. Okay, do you recall specifically mentioning to him Ghislaine Maxwell's statement to the press? I mentioned a lot of names to him. Okay, what new symptoms did you experience following January the 2nd, 2015? I think it's one thing to be a victim of sexual abuse and survive it and come out trying to tell the world my story, and then another thing for it to be shut down because these people, Ms. Maxwell and others, are calling me liars. And I asked you what symptoms had you experienced? Mr. Edwards, she's going to finish her answer to this question. You cut her off so many times. Ms. Manager, it has nothing to do with this. Mr. Edwards, it absolutely does, because this is a psychological damages claim and she is trying to explain to you what those damages are. Okay, what are your symptoms that you experienced since January the 2nd, 2015 that are new? Very strong anxiety attacks, bad panic attacks, my throat closes up, I can't breathe, I vomit when I have anxiety attacks. This is personal, but my sex life has suffered, my marriage has suffered. Psychologically, it's just hurt me all over again. I mean, they've hurt me before, and now they've hurt me again by doing this. And I felt like I was in the process of healing before this came out, because I had opened up this wonderful charity called Victims Refuse Silence. And then my aim was to heal by helping other girls get out of the situations that I was in before. And my lawyers were nice enough to help me. I have this beautiful website where you can click on in any state and you can find a place. I have personally called all of them and they will help you get out of the situation that you're in. They will get you medical help. They will get you legal advice. I think I was in the really good process of healing. And when this came out, it just ruined me all over again.